Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. I'm Evil Mike. This is going to be my review of Night Terrors, Night's End. This is the final issue in the whole event. If you have not read the whole series or watched the other reviews, please go back and do that before this. This is the last issue. It is written by Joshua Williamson, art by Howard Porter, Giuseppe Camuncoli, Stefano, Nesi, Trevor, Hairsine, colors by Beredo, and letters by Peteri. Sorry if I mispronounced any of those names. Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe on this guy's channel. It does help. Hit the bell. I don't have a schedule, so we'll keep you in tune. Alright, let's get into it. The final issue, right? On this issue, out of all the other issues, for some reason, it's got different art. I'm going to say that I kind of liked it, kind of didn't. We start out with this family, and it's basically painting this narrative of like superheroes is scary now that insomnia has succeeded. Nightmares are existing in the real world. This little girl's talking about like, oh, I had these nightmares and I saw this man with, no eyelids, and the parents start realizing that they're, dreaming about the same thing. We get this scene right here that shows like superheroes like appearing in nightmare form behind them. And the book jumps over to, the real situation. We are in front of basically the Hall of Justice, and we have all the heroes now fighting all the nightmares that Insomnia has brought into the real world now that he has the Nightmare Stone. Of course, Boston Brand, Deadman, and Wesley Dodds, the Sandman, are in captivity, basically. And at this point, Insomnia gives Deadman what he thinks he's wanted all along, the thing that was taken from him, and it's basically his family made real again. We lose Deadman at this time because he gets lost in this whole like it's my family thing. Everybody else commits to fighting Insomnia and his nights and the nightmares and all this stuff. While this is going on, Batman kind of realizes that Deadman's not around, and they quickly try to wake Deadman out of his thing, calling it like kind of a and I'm kind of spanning through most of this because most of this is just badass art, action art kind of stuff. But basically they eventually wake Deadman out of his dream, claiming that that's not what he wanted kind of thing, but he knows what he wants, and it's kind of how they defeat Insomnia. They basically go to the very beginning of where this started with, and I'm forgetting I think it's John D., Dr. Destiny. Basically, his body being in the Hall of Justice is kind of like the anchor on how Insomnia has been kind of using the dreams and the nightmares kind of thing. There is a scene where Boston Brand goes in to fight Insomnia inside the nightmare realm or whatever, and we see that Insomnia is a little more powerful than Boston Brand because he ends up getting killed. He quickly just tears into Deadman, and that's the end of him. We continue on with the fight, and at this time they realize, like I mentioned, they're going to Dr. Destiny's body with the dream. I think it's called the Dreamstone, but the Dreamstone being inside him, and they realize that that's how they're going to fight Insomnia and his Nightmare Stone. They give the Dreamstone to Sandman, and that's basically how they start fighting off the nightmares. Basically, once he gets the Dreamstone, he makes all the nightmares kind of disappear. As you can see, they kind of like fade away. At this time, it is revealed that Deadman did not die. It's his whole stick, right? He faked his whole death. That's what he's good at. He does come back, and basically at this time, with the Dreamstone being in hand, Deadman makes the ultimate sacrifice, and he does end up killing himself, pulling Insomnia basically in kind of like into the Nightmare Stone. Like he gets pulled away by his nightmares kind of thing is what happens to him. And Insomnia does claim that at the end of it, like, even though like as long as nightmares exist, he will exist kind of thing. But at the very end, sadly, Deadman does have to sacrifice himself. There has to be a sacrifice for the Nightmare Stone to activate, and he does make the sacrifice. So at this time, he officially is dead. There is no like gimmick. they do show a scene right here where Insomnia, the real person, gets to have this family moment and everything, but quickly realizes that it's not a happy-go-lucky. He's basically being dragged down to hell kind of thing by his own family, no less. We go back to the Hall of Justice. Everything is completed. Everybody saved the day. Basically, all the heroes start checking in with Aquaman because they were out there saving the world kind of thing. There's some other pieces that are left. Basically, at this point, they have to put Sandman back in the ground. It's one of the last pieces that are left, and that's kind of what happens. It was very surprising to me because we're about to get a solo series with him in it. They state that they are going to hide the Dreamstone and the Nightmare Stone. At this time, Batman collapses. During this whole thing, Boston Brand has been pushing his body, keeping him awake. So at this time, Batman's kind of like comatose. But basically, they're saying that he's gotten the best rest of his life kind of thing, and he needed it. There's some conversation about what's to come kind of thing. Some things that, basically they're going to put Red Tornado back up. Wonder Woman mentions that there's some anti-Amazon stuff going in Washington. Superman's heading back to Supercorp. Basically, they're heading back to their own series. At the very end, we go back to the family that this issue started out with, and it's basically this little girl throwing away all her superhero stuff, claiming that they're all scary now. We head to the scene over here with Amanda Waller, and we're basically she's stating that Insomnia kind of messed up her plans, but didn't. Basically, Phase 1 was a success, and now with this and the whole world knowing that superheroes are scary, Phase 2 can commence, and we know that she's about to try and kill the Justice League. While this was going on with the Insomnia, she had sent Bright to go steal the Nightmare Stone, which he did. Now having the hate helmet and the Nightmare Stone, she gives it to a mysterious person who stays in the shadow. Mentions that his family is not going to be happy if he makes this decision. He does. He puts on the helmet with the Nightmare Stone. It fuses with him, and it's supposed to be very painful or whatever. At the very end, we get this new character called Dr. Hate. And basically he's working with Waller, going after the Justice League now with the Nightmare Stone and the Helmet of Hate. It says this will be continued in Beast World, which is another event that's upcoming. But most of these will continue in their regular ongoing. Superman heading back to Supercorp, Batman about to get into the Gotham War. But that is my review on this issue. This event was fantastic. It blew me away. Every side issue had a reason. It was tight, content. The ending was fantastic. I highly suggest if you do not read this, wait for the trade and read it all in a trade fashion. But that is my review. Let me know down below if you read this. What did you think about it? Yada, 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 that kind of stuff. Alright, guys, that's all I got for you.